Bubsy 1 was really bad, but Bubsy 2 was at least marginally better. Maybe Bubsy 3D is the thing that kind of kicked it into high gear and fixed all the problems. But we'll figure that out in the next video, right guys? It gets better, right? Please tell me it gets better. It didn't get better. It didn't get better. It didn't get better. Bubsy 3D is the fourth and, for a while, the final game to star our orange idiot. After Bubsy 2 and Fractured Furry Tales failed to really sell, Accolade decided to bring back the main man himself, Michael Berlin. Michael Berlin has gone on record multiple times talking about how big of a disappointment he considers the two Bubsy games he has nothing to do with. And when they brought him back, he decided to do something that was extremely ambitious. He wanted to bring the character into the future with a fully 3D platformer, something that has really not been done yet. Unlike with Bubsy 1, there was no framework to bounce off of, and Berlin was confident in the game that he made. That is, until that year's CES when he saw Nintendo debut something new, Super Mario 64. The game was set to be released just a few months before Bubsy 3D. The game actually got Berlin so scared that he asked to delay Bubsy 3D, but Accolade refused. So the 3D platforming genre really starting to find its roots around this time. What made the likes of Mario and Crash Bandicoot stick around, but the likes of Bubsy to be tossed by the wayside? That's what we're here to find out. This is Bubsy 3D in Forbidden Planet. Let's get started. Oh, okay, off the bat with this one. Just off the bat. So, you are Bubsy Bobcat. The Woolies from the first game catnap Bubsy and bring him to their home planet, which sounds like that would be an absolutely terrible idea. Anyway, they find out he's collecting atoms and rocket parts and they have no idea why, because logic doesn't exist on this planet and these things are natural resources.
All we know is that the creature's plan somehow revolves around collecting atoms and rockets. What it plans to do with these useless yet abundant natural resources, we have no idea.
I think the thing that makes me hate this the most is the fact that it goes out of its way to insult your intelligence. Like, it's one thing to say collect stuff in a platformer, but going out of your way to say that the Woolies are so stupid is just insulting. And that's all the story that we're getting until the very end of the game, but hey, it's a platformer and—
What would a platform game be without platforms?
Yeah, Bubsy talks more than ever, and no, it is never funny or entertaining. Instead of being voiced by Rob Paulsen, which was the one good thing about Bubsy, instead he's voiced by Lanny Minnelli, which most people would know as the original voice actress for Rouge the Bat.
Bad day or what?
The Woolies hold this giant meeting to discuss the Bobcat menace and all get attacked, permanently cementing my Bubsy is a villain theory. They had to organize the world's military just to handle it. In between every level, we get these FMVs with Bubsy getting hurt in some way. So at least the developers know how to reward me correctly. I'm just about done with this whole thing. Let's just get to the main menu. This is the title screen? Even the music gave up! It's a single JPEG with a word art put on it. Oh my god, this game really is just putting its best foot forward. I haven't even started and I already want to burn my house down.
No, you wanna be a video game star.
So, this is the game. These flat, uninteresting, open worlds with literal platforms in it. I hope you like how this looks, because this is literally how the entire game looks. This has to be some unfinished Super Mario 64 level or something. This is supposed to be a palm tree. It's insulting. It is easy to get really lost, especially since the level design is as open-ended as the 2D games. There are so many different paths that it's damn near impossible to keep yourself straight. At the very beginning of the game, I found this platform over here and thought this was the way to go. I jump down and find these clams and I give up. I've literally only seen 2 enemies and they're already the most horribly designed things I've ever seen. But honestly, you should be amazed I managed to even get here. Because let me tell you about these controls real quick. You ever play Resident Evil? How if you do anything, it locks you into where you were going until the action is complete? Imagine that, but in a platformer. I already hate tank controls, and it's the main reason I can't get into any of the early Resident Evils. But in that game, I know it oddly makes sense. I know it works for the mood that they were going for. Its sole purpose was to hinder you and make you feel helpless. This game wants you to explore and have the time of your goddamn life! Controlling Bubsy is like controlling a car. He will constantly accelerate as you push forward, and turning more nudges Bubsy in the direction instead of actually turning him. He's also back to having Luigi physics, so he'll be slippery the entire time you're controlling him. Surprisingly, one of the hardest things to do is collect the atoms. These replace the yard balls and marbles from the 2D games. Something that is actually pretty cool is the fact that these things can be used as projectiles as well. If you stop in front of them and press square, you can actually throw these at enemies. It is something that I feel actually makes the collectibles original in this game compared to other platformers in the genre. But actually using these things can be absolutely frustrating. Again, because of Bubsy's Luigi physics, there are many times I accidentally slide into them. You can also attack enemies by doing the absolute worst thing I've ever done in my life. Look at this jump! Every single jump will reposition the camera to right on top of you until you hit the ground. Now, on paper, I can see why this seems like a good idea in a platformer with take controls. But the jump entirely ignores any momentum that you previously had and feels like it takes on its own set of physics. It is really hard to platform and jump on enemies because it is damn near impossible to aim where to land. Similar to Bubsy 1, I had to avoid being hit so many times I continuously jumped around hoping to not get hit by everything around me. And since the camera doesn't reset until a second after you land back on the ground, attempting to dodge a lot of projectiles just sort of makes the game look like this. The bland background and lack of a minimap makes this game absolutely infuriating because I just jump blindly and I don't know where to go! There's a second jump using the triangle button that has a lower vertical distance but goes into a glide, which makes it a bit easier to control, but because of how high platforms are, you won't always be able to use this more useful jump for platforming. And as if that wasn't bad enough, this game makes navigating platforms as needlessly complicated as possible. Walking on platforms that are over water is nerve-wracking. Most levels have these twists and turns, and if you accidentally go on a corner, an animation killing you plays. And this will happen a lot because of Bubsy's Luigi physics. The camera also fights you at every turn when you run fast. It's like the camera can't even keep up with Bubsy's speed. And all of that would be somewhat forgivable if the main focus was just getting to the end of the stage. But nope! This is an open 3D world, there has to be stuff to collect, and that's where these rockets come into play. Every level except the boss levels has 2 of these hidden throughout the stage. And these are supposedly the main objective of the game? They're so far out of the way that I tend to ignore them because they don't unlock anything, it's just bragging rights. There are even these underwater levels and it's so easy to just swim to the end. Why bother exploring? I already want to drink bleach playing this game. The only thing that the rockets determine is the ending you get. If you don't collect all 32 rocket pieces, you see this meeting of how Bubsy managed to escape but can't get back to Earth and is stuck on a random planet while the Woolies can invade planet Earth to steal all of the wool on the planet. But if you do get all the rocket pieces, you still get the exact same cutscene, just saying that Bubsy is now stuck in the past instead. That's 2 bad endings for this game, and honestly, isn't that just the most Bubsy thing? The only reason I discovered this is by using a cheat to unlock all the rockets, because hell no, I'm not about to do all of this. I hate this! Bubsy 3D is easily one of the worst games I have ever played! Every level is super massive, but it's impossible to navigate. The comedy is cringeworthy and feels like it was done by a 6-year-old, despite being written by someone with a background in text-based adventure games. And the game's presentation just comes off as unfinished. This game was not doomed to mediocrity like everybody thinks. If Accolade just waited a year and gave Berlin a little bit more funding, this could have been one of the great platformers of the PlayStation 1. And just to prove that even a little bit of TLC could have gone a long way, let me show you Bubsy 3D visits the James Turrell retrospective. This is a Unity Engine parody game done by the same guys who did the Sonic Dreams collection. And while this does get weird, it never gets that weird. But what I want to focus on is the first chapter of the game. I realized that this is how Bubsy 3D should have played. The jump and glide mechanic actually controls well when navigating the 3D environment. The glide propels you forward and the camera is always focused on what is in front of you rather than focusing on the floor during jumps. What makes this game annoying isn't the controls, it is solely Bubsy's speed being way too slow. Even look at this environmental design. This game still has the flat, uninteresting textured look of the original, but it renders a skybox. The platforms house their own little area. The trees look like trees. Bubsy 3D wouldn't be as disgusting if it actually bothered with its art design and made these objects less abstract. When a parody game looks better than your own game, you know you fucked up. I have never played a game that has pissed me off more than Bubsy 3D. I could at least find some stuff to praise about the last few Bubsy games, but here, I'm just at a loss for words. I don't understand how anybody could have looked at this and just said, yeah, this is finished. The camera doesn't work, the physics don't work, the voice doesn't work, the art design doesn't work, even the box art doesn't work. If you do a little digging, this EGM quote on the box is actually fake. The review is actually a negative review that they just took words out of context in order to give it a positive spin. And that is the most Bubsy thing. Every single Bubsy game has yet to fail in making me explode with absolute rage. I am glad this game killed the Bubsy series. Every franchise, no matter how bad, has at least one or two good things stemming from it. But here, everything with Bubsy's name on it is absolutely terrible. So who the hell thought it was a good idea to bring him back? Well, we'll find out next time what could possibly go wrong! Hey guys, thanks for watching. If you click the playlist, you can see my opinions on other games in the Bubsy series, as well as just other movies and games in general. Also, be sure to subscribe so you know when the next review is. And if you want to keep the conversation going, join my Discord so you'll always be up to date on new videos and live streams. I will see you guys next time.